Okay, so nobody's getting the truth from the mainstream media, folks. It's well past time to open your eyes, your ears, and your mind. Do your own research because something isn't right here. And if you can't see that, you are not paying attention, folks.
It's the opportunity to forge for ourselves and for future generations a new world order. A world where the rule of law, not the law of the jungle, governs the conduct of nations.
So let's look at each one of these and see how we can get this down to zero. Probably one of these numbers is going to have to get pretty near to zero. Now that's back from high school algebra, but let's take a look. First, we've got population. The world today has 6.8 billion people. That's headed up to about 9 billion. Now, if we do a really great job on new vaccines, healthcare, reproductive health services, we could lower that by perhaps 10 or 15%.
The important message that we need Australians to get vaccinated as quickly as possible. In line with that, I do encourage all Australians to please go and book your vaccinations as soon as you can if you haven't already done so.
Emma, get away!
When we are successful, and we will be, we have a real chance at this new world order, an order in which a credible United Nations can use its peacekeeping role to fulfill the promise and vision of the UN's founders.
Okay, we need to stand up against this tyranny, folks. Stop giving away your freedoms and liberties, because the more you give up, the more these people will take until you have absolutely nothing left. That's their agenda. All right, good evening, guys. How you going? And chicks, guys and chicks. It's the Aussie way to do it, isn't it? All right, let me just get organised here. I haven't been in the studio for 2 days, 3 days, 4 days. Anyway, made a long weekend of it, guys. So, yeah, last night we just, thought we'd enjoy the long weekend, which we did, actually. So, yeah, hope everybody else did. Because, yeah, we got some long weeks coming up, guys, the way we're going to have to be fighting these arseholes. But a lot coming out. We've seen this New South Wales transport thing, all the $1 million contracts there. This, obviously, immigrant to Australia, Helen, his name is, was in court. And we were watching all the kickbacks there and crypto and everything else, guys. So a bit more coming out there. But again, what is he going to be, the fall guy? Because he was doing the contracts. You know, where's his supervisors that were probably getting? Anyway, hopefully a bit more will come out on it. My Gov hacks, if you want to find out what's going on there. I just saw Michael Griffith doing a couple of TikToks, and he had a show last night or something, but with people that are getting their MyGov attack, guys, you know, in the time of they want us all to have digital ID, and they can't even look after your own or their own MyGov account at the moment. So, you know, doctors, they're pushing the doctors about, you know, no time. There's, you know, like all this bullshit in the medical industry. Well, they reckon we got more complex health issues. Well, I reckon we have. All right. I really reckon we have. And I'll tell you, this is something interesting that one of the people just sent over now, guys. All right. And I get some really good stuff. I love it. But, you know, Caz's reaction when I just read this, because I only just saw it, right? But there's a study here to go with it. All right. And it's called The Effect of Dietary Lipid on UV Light Carcinogens in the Hairless Mouse. All right. So what the post says, wow, it turns out seed oils are required. Listen to this, guys, for UV light to cause skin cancer in animals. Mice fed 20% saturated fat had basically zero skin cancer. But when they fed them 5 to 20% polyunsaturated fat, they developed a lot of tumors. Stop blaming the sun for what seed oils do. Very interesting, guys. I didn't know that one. But that makes a hell of a lot of sense. And Caz's first words were these evil bastards. And that's exactly right, guys, you know. And, you know, I don't know how things like this just don't like get people absolutely riled as more and more information comes out about how well these guys have actually put this this plan together, you know, these bioweapons and all the food poisoning and everything that we were unaware of, you know. But now we are aware, guys, aren't we? And there's a time coming up on the 11th, where I think we need to make a stand, guys, all right? Really do. So you need to get the word out. All the stuff's there. It's on the website. It's on different places out and about. All right, you need to start letterboxing your area because people are pissed. People are pissed, all right? They know that this shit is not right. They can see that our Prime Minister is an absolute sack of shit and he's doing an absolute terrible job, but continues to just go forward in ludicrous shit while not even, you know, paying any attention to the Australian people. So, looks like we've also upset a couple of people. There's some stuff up the top there, guys, but it's, yeah, we'll get into the show, I think. We'll get Frank on and Caz whenever they're right. Frank's coming on tonight because we've had a bit of pushback up at the Governors, which is good, guys. All right, we had a few people turn up. I'll let Frank tell you about the numbers. They're a very ironic number of what turned up actually on a probably a pretty prestigious day. So, Frank, how are you, mate? Hope you had a great long weekend, brother, and Caz the same. But yeah, how was Monday at Maggie's on the long weekend, Frank?
No, it was different. It always is, you know. Every day's an adventure, and for all those people, you know, you ought to be congratulated. You know, there's your probably unsaturated. You know, but yeah, mate. Look, yeah, it's funny, you know. What happened? You know, obviously we've documented what happened on the lawns. Now, I will sort of clarify a few things first, but about say 6, 7, 8 weeks ago, we had the trustees come down and wanted us to document our paperwork because apparently they lost it, you know. So lo and behold, Belinda actually decided to, okay, well, we put it forward, and they said to us that once you've done this, we'll just leave you alone and let you be because, you know, by that stage, we've been there for over 12 months anyway. So they just wanted the paperwork supposedly, right? So anyway, so we handed the paperwork in. And then lo and behold, I mean, we've had a few incidents in the last few weeks. Who knows? I mean, maybe
we've got actually some footage of it, Franco. Hang on a minute.
Yeah.
As authorized officer to pass it on to you the same message that was sent about a week ago, right? And we got it right here. This is in relation to this protest that's been going on. We acknowledge it's been going on for about a year now.
Yes.
So this is what has been sent out.
Yeah, but I was told from the last time that when we resubmitted, that we will be left alone to our own devices. Now, Section 4 of the Constitution says I must appear.
Okay.
Right now, the fact that she's already on Crown land, that's not my problem.
Okay.
But my problem is under the Section 4 letters patent, the Section 4 of the Constitution says I must appear. So we're appearing, right, as it is our right to be able to do so. And so,
our responsibility,
you know.
Yeah.
Let's just give you the.
He's trying to serve you documents. Well said, Frank. Exactly. The Constitution, says you must appear.
Well, it's actually our right. The patents 4 is basically our right to stand, and like this funny thing is, and I even said that also in the clip, is that you can write this woman an email, you can send her all the paperwork you like, and guess what? She doesn't have to read it. But once you appear, that's a whole different ball game. Now, I'm appearing based on my so-called liberties so far. You know that I have the freedom of speech and the freedom to be able to stand and protest. Now, it's not my fault that, her little castle's on supposedly Crown land, which basically means it belongs to us, folks. It's the people's land. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So, so they're changing the goalposts. Now, I mentioned a few weeks ago that, look, we've held it for so long, Dave, that, we pretty much have laid it out ready to go, right? She's ready to go. And, 30, 40 people ain't going to cut the mustard, as I've been saying. We need thousands upon there. Now, as you can see, they're getting worried. This is them telling us, hang on a minute, you know what, we are building momentum. There's no question about it. They know that people are pretty fed up right now, and they're now trying to change the goalposts, because the last thing they want is that wave of people to actually arrive, you know, with discontent, because guess what? Then she has to act. That's it.
Well, yeah, and their big problem is, Frank, but their big problem is now that we've got people waking up, so they're having to come at us in all sorts of areas now. You know, they're going to have to try and shut us up here, shut us up there, shut us, you know. And what is it again? Fear. You know, that's what they usually like to use, guys. But, you know, we see what's going on in Western Australia now, and I think Caz has got a clip on that. You know, with the gun laws and that, and who again, you know, this bullshit sovereign citizens back into it. None of us are sovereign citizens, man. No. Like, fuck it off. You know,
Wayne Glue put it out the other day. He said that the sovereign citizens are the government, and they're the only ones that are and he's right. You know why? Because when they got rid of the Constitution, what happened was a guy called Dicey came up with the theory of the sovereign parliament. Now, even though it's never been established as that, magistrates have started ruling in alignment with that, and not in alignment with the Constitution.
Exactly. Actually, can I just add quickly too with that? The gentleman that was actually there handing the paperwork, his name's Nate. Now, I gave Nate privately a couple of witness statements one day in the newspaper, and he came around with his golf buggy. I pulled him aside on the quiet, one-on-one, and I said to Nate, and he goes, "Man," he was a Fijian, "Man, I didn't believe that this country's like this." I said, "Mate, it is." And so he felt he could tell he was feeling uncomfortable. You know what I mean? Like, because obviously they've just pulled out Nate to go and do their dirty work for them, to air their freaking laundry, because, they're shit scared right now. So, anyway.
Yeah. And you can see them coming down hard everywhere. Here's the report from Western Australia.
Proper person to be in possession of a firearm.
Seizing firearms and cancelling gun licences.
The firearms will be coming with us today, so the compound will.
WA police are cracking down on people who identify as sovereign citizens. They don't believe in the legitimacy of government and its laws.
How on earth can the state of Western Australia entrust those people with the responsibilities for being a lawful gun owner?
Last week, police searched 70 properties throughout the state. They seized 135 firearms and cancelled or suspended 44 gun licences, sending a clear message that no one is above the law.
If you have made it...
What do you mean no one's above the law? They were within the law.
Yeah.
The government is being lawless.
Yeah,
and we've got young pups out there, 17 and 18-year-old, that wouldn't know what to do in a situation, that are wearing a freaking Glock on their hip and out there being power mongrels. You know what I mean? Like, but we're not responsible, or so-called us. It's not us, actually, but certain people out there in the community, like farmers and people who like to, cull animals for whether it's eating or it's because they're pests or whatever, can't have a gun. Like, serious?
Well, hang on a minute.
I can't have nunchucks, Frank.
Yeah. I know.
But, you could have a machete, but I can't have a set of nunchuckers, because if they come here, I'm gone. That's something to arrest me on. They're
using Desi, right? He had a handmade sawn shotgun, right?
Yeah.
With 10 coppers. Hang on a sec.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously, come on.
Well, you know what? Like, and this is the one of somebody's paperwork. Okay, Section 152(1) of the Act, on the basis that you're associate of who? It's blank, and not fit and proper person in the context. I have regard to their overall sovereign citizen ideologies. Topher had this to say, which I think is actually pretty good.
Government are trying to prove that sovereign citizens are wrong by doing exactly what sovereign citizens said they were going to do, taking their guns. They are literally using people's publicly expressed opinions about government as a pretext, a pre-crime, to strip law-abiding licensed gun owners of their correctly registered guns, in a move that is going to be viewed by many Australians as proof that maybe those crazy sovereign citizens weren't so crazy after all.
Hey guys, the full clip's available on the website. We don't have time for it tonight because we've got a guest, but look. It's not just the Freemasons. It's also security licenses are come under guns come under security licenses, and I think when I got it,
most of them are African criminals now. They can have a gun license, fucking no worries.
The name Muhammad went on for pages, like pages and pages and pages. So you had this situation where all of the security firms are pretty much owned by certain people with certain beliefs, and they're allowed to have guns, but no, it's a sovereign citizen. Like it's just bullshit. And the thing is that we're really suspicious about that situation anyway. Police, what did you do? It's very convenient that this has all worked out the way it has, isn't it?
Yeah.
All by design. And, and as I was saying a while ago, they're coming for every aspect, guys. All right, every aspect. All right, over in where is it? I could have this wrong. Alabama, Oklahoma, one of those really fucked up leftist states. All right, they are now getting charged a tax on property that they own each year.
Virginia.
So this is not just your normal registration and that, guys. Yeah, this is on
Virginia,
what you own.
CIA territory. Yeah. CIA territory.
Unbelievable, mate. So now, one lady was charged, I think it was $2,900 or $2,300 for the year for what she actually owns. It's already paid for, owned, no credit on it or anything, registered. That's another bill to register and insure. But because you own it, and we know what they do, guys. They try it out over there and they whack it into Canada and a bit of it into Britain and they'll throw a bit over here and we're all sitting back going, wow, look at that. Yeah, well, look at that because it's on your doorstep, man.
And the thing is that they're calling us all sovereign citizens. Well, Nicholas Charles has put this out.
Entity of the Australian government called the Voice to Parliament referendum because as per the Australian Constitution Act 1900 UK, which is still valid, you journalists can Google it for yourselves and find out.
We call it.
Only a Commonwealth Parliament can call a referendum. I'd actually like to ask the corporate side of the Australian government to cease and desist from calling referendums, to cease and desist from calling elections, because they have no authority to do so. None. No authority to do so. Unless they open a Commonwealth Parliament and all of these bureaucrats and politicians who are currently paid enormous salaries, because when you work for a corporation, you can name your price as an administrator. This isn't the bureaucracy. These aren't civil servants under the Commonwealth. You cannot move, as per the Constitution, anyone who's benefited financially from working for other institutions in Australia into the Commonwealth Parliament. So that means every Prime Minister, every Senator, every MP, they cannot. It would be unlawful for them to enter the Commonwealth Parliament. So we start again. You bring your writ and you call real legitimate elections, because right now you have no authority. You have no authority to call referendums. And when you did, you broke the law. You have no authority without the writ to call an election for a Commonwealth Parliament. But you weren't, were you? You were calling election for a corporate house parliament. And if I were a journalist with mainstream media, I might, never know, I might just be asking questions about that.
Yeah, we all know what the answers are. Absolute crickets, guys, because they know they have jurisdiction. It's crickets.
Yeah, but they've all picked the wrong team, Dave.
Yeah,
well,
too right.
And it's not just you, actually, Franco. Rosie had an issue with the Rangers on the weekend as well.
No, that wasn't the weekend, was it? No, this is ages ago.
Public land.
No idea what you're doing, right? No idea.
Are you sure?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, that's my clip, and it's had 94,000 views or something. So it's actually got nearly 100,000 views on that, guys. But that's from the other month up there. Remember, and we put, because that was the Surf Live. This wasn't the council. This was a Surf Live taping member come over.
Yeah, Collaroy Beach. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. But Kaz, brilliant, mate. Don't worry about when it's from. This is what we're up against. Yeah. Normal citizens that have got a job on the beach. All right, it's a cool job in Australia. I'll get you. But, man, they go through some rigorous training. They see a lot of bullshit. They put their life on the line every day. And here they are people like that are willing to go down and look after our community at the beach, give up their time, do whatever they're doing. Yet here they are being coerced to come and pull down a forest of the fallen. I mean, how?
And I'll tell you why, Dave, because most of those surf clubs, mate, they don't mind donging on an apron, brother.
Yeah. There's a few aprons out there. And if you can't get an apron, you just ride a goat in the backyard, mate. It's simple.
That's exactly right. So, you know what I mean? So
there's no shortage. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you can do that with a gun in your holster and everything, Frank. You can really have some fun out there, mate. Yeah, the old. Bring back Stropper and Paul.
Yeah, that's right. Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
We had this issue.
Vegemite later.
We had this issue on the weekend. Somebody posted this about people lining up for a rental in Bondi. Check it out.
And what do you notice, guys? Look at this.
I'll turn that music off.
Wow.
Now, it's an $800 a week rental. Okay, and it goes on, keeps going around the block. That's the short one. And it goes on for around the block, around the corner of the block as well. $800 for no parking, just a bed sit. Is it no two bedroom unit at Bondi? Yeah.
So what do you notice about that, guys? Because me and Caz have picked it straight away. That's why I sent it to her. It stood out like the proverbials to me. Everyone there looked Australian.
Where was the melatonin?
Yeah.
Everyone looked Anglo-Saxon at least. You know what I mean? And that's strange, guys. All right. Yeah, we'll look more into it. But, we got a theory on that, yeah.
Mustafa
and it doesn't matter. The refugees will go in there. They would normally get first preference, and 8 of them would move in, and the rent's cheap as shit, guys. That's how they do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but they weren't there. They weren't there.
They don't need to be, Dave. They've already been looked after.
Maybe not. Yeah, maybe you're right, Frank. Maybe they're in the back door, mate, and we'll find out that unit went to one of them.
That's right.
Right, bro.
Yeah.
Well, it could be. Now, it's certainly one of the crunching issues with the young people. This is a newbie, guys. We always like to play newbie stuff, but I do warn you, anyone with children listening, he drops a few swear words. So, but just basically turn it down for a minute.
Fuck is happening in this country? I'm so goddamn tired of this absolute bullshit housing situation that's completely fucking over every single hard-working and unable to find highly paid enough work Australian. These traitorous cunts in Canberra, Labor, Liberal, I don't give a flying fuck which colour tie they wear. They've absolutely screwed us. They've sold out our entire fucking future so their billionaire mates can get another investment property. Meanwhile, people working full-time jobs can't afford a fucking studio apartment without spending 70% of their pay. And don't get me started on these fucking real estate agents of tyranny, blood-sucking leeches, the lot of them, making us jump through hoops like performing monkeys just for the privilege of renting some shitbox that hasn't been renovated since fucking Whitlam was PM, so they can buy a shitbox Mercedes and lip filler. They want our entire life story, bank statements, references from our fucking kindergarten teacher, and for what? To live in some mold-infested dump that costs $800 a week? The government keeps importing a fucking city's worth of people every month while we can't even house the people who already live here. What the actual fuck is that? It's demographic replacement combined with economic genocide. They're turning us into permanent renters in our own country while foreign investors and property moguls get tax breaks to buy up everything. And these politicians have the fucking audacity to tell us just to get a better job or move to the regions. Fuck you. My great-great-grandparents built this country and now I can't even afford a fucking shoebox in the suburbs they grew up in while working a job for Zog to make multi-billion-dollar profits for BlackRock. This isn't a housing market. It's a fucking Ponzi scheme designed to transfer wealth from young Australians to wealthy boomers and foreign interests. We're watching our entire nation turn into feudal serfs unless you're a diverse sheep in the public service, while these corrupt pieces of shit in Parliament keep serving their growth lobby corporate masters. They've made housing a speculative casino instead of a basic human right. It's fucking criminal what they've done to this country.
I'm glad they're waking up. I am so glad that they are waking up. And that guy's emotion shows you how pissed he is, man. Like, you know, yeah.
And it's, you know, it's a common theme. But if that guy's listening to Stop the Rot, Sack the Lot, come to Mondays at Maggie's because we need you. And all your mates as well.
Yeah, we need everybody on board, guys.
Yep. Exactly right.
Yeah.
Look, you know, but the government has got a solution to staying in trouble, and this was picked up by Two Worlds Collide, and well done to him for that.
A review has been underway to make Parliament even bigger. At a minimum, 12 more senators and 24 lower house MPs, Anthony Albanese's inconspicuous power play. Most of the new federal seats will be in metro areas, crippling the coalition.
All right, so Albo wants to make Parliament even bigger, another 12 senators and 24 MPs. And here's the kicker. Well, most of those new seats, they're going to be in metro areas. And what do we know about metro areas? Well, they historically vote Labor. So you're effectively creating new seats where Labor already dominates. Now, call it what you want, but it looks like strategically stacking the deck before the next election. And you know what's wild about all this? It's practically out of the CCP playbook. You expand government, centralise power, and make it look like reform. And that's how it starts, slowly and quietly, with words like representation and fairness. It's not about more democracy, it's about more control. China did it. They bloated their own government to the point where the opposition couldn't even compete. Now tell me that doesn't sound familiar and what's happening right here, right? And let's talk some numbers, some real numbers. The population of Australia is around 27 million. 30% of those can't vote, so that leaves you about 19 million. Now, in the 2022 election, Albo won with about 4.7 primary votes to win government. Right, he got about 35% of the vote, winning 62% of the seats. Now, let's fast forward. He's going to bring in about 2 to 3 million migrants before the end of his second term. And if 80 to 90% of those vote Labor, that's about 1.6 to 1.8 million voters he's just imported. Then bang, Albo just turned 4.7 million voters into 6.5 million voters. And suddenly, every single election going forward, well, now becomes unlosable. That's not democracy, that's demographic engineering. You don't need to rig ballots if you can just rig the population. Yeah, I know I bang on a lot about our government being historically broke, and one way to fix that debt is to flood the place with people. That's their way of increasing production. But here's the thing, you have to look at this from a strategic point of view. He looks like he's importing voters. And I know everything that I say on this platform is watched by government agencies. So I'm not making any claims about elections being legitimate or saying that we may not be able to vote our way out of this. But you have to admit, when you potentially see a plan where they seem to be adding seats to Labor dominant areas and millions of potential voters are flooding in at the same time, you have to ask yourself the question, and it makes you stop and think. It definitely raises the questions for me about how fair elections are going to be going forward, and whether the system is being tilted so far that genuine Aussies no longer have a choice at the ballot box. So when I look at something like this, Albo just isn't expanding Labor's seats. He's flooding the place with people so he can get votes and keep him in power. And that's the uncomfortable truth that no one in Canberra wants to even talk about. What's your thoughts?
Well, my thoughts, which are exactly right now, the other thing that not many people know, but it was put to the people of Hong Kong a vote as well. So what the CCP did was they made it impossible for the people of Hong Kong to have a boundary. They flooded the border. They flooded the country with CCP, with people who would vote for the CCP. So this is a game plan, you know.
And on top of that, not to mention the ISIS brides that are stuck in Syria, right? They're dishing out to try and get them back home now, folks. So you know what? Here comes more of them back home. You know what I mean? So,
and the swan song is all by design.
Yeah, and if you say too much now, we've got this situation as well where YouTube. Okay, so Two Worlds Collide did a sit-down talk with Professor Ian Plimer, and so now it's basically, after conducting an additional review of the video, we've determined that it is not suitable for all advertisers. So your video, so they're actually kind of censoring the truth, you know, like.
Really? Would they censor the truth, Caz? Are you picking on them?
It's just look, it's insane. And like then you've got this situation as well where John Adams, he's been pursuing the 1975 ABC pedophile tape, and the Federal Minister for Communications, Annika Wells, has decided to protect the pedophiles from 50 years. So ABC has denied lying to Parliament and has instead written to the committee to correct the record about the existence of the recording. The ABC says that the recording does not meet editorial standards and won't be publishing it. The Minister, Annika Wells, refuses to intervene. So they're covering up what he was trying to push out into the narrative space.
Ah, man, the Fabians, the Freemasons, the
filth.
Yeah, the filth.
The filth.
Yeah, let's just call them the filth because they ain't elites, all right? They're just scumbags, absolute scumbags.
Yeah, well, they are at that. Look, we're at half-past, so I'll just bring on the flyers.
And the Mondays at Maggie's crew is calling for tools down. It's time to stand together. A corrupt and tyrannical government is crushing industries, stripping freedoms and silencing voices. So join us every Monday at the Governor's House in Sydney at 11 a.m. And on Mondays, don't forget Mondays at Maggie's, the Frank and Charles podcast. They will be hitting the streets this week. Mondays at Maggie's. And on Saturday, the 22nd of November, there is an Abolish Abortion Australia conference. This will be featuring T. Russell Hunter. And in Victoria, we have the following events. In Melbourne, gather at the Governor's every Saturday to end the tyranny. 10 a.m. every Saturday at the Governor Gates. And join the Justice of the People in Melbourne every Sunday at 4:30 p.m. for a remembrance at the Shrine of Remembrance. And the Too Much for Australia events that are free of NSN will be one in Wodonga at Lesstone Park on Sunday the 19th of October at 12 p.m. and the one in Brisbane at Roma Street, Parkland, 12 p.m. And the Vax Bus is at it again with the Vaccine Injury Bus Tour. The dates will be 10th of November, Wollongong, 11th of November, Kiama, 12th of November, Nowra, 13th of November, Ulladulla, 14th of November, Narooma, 15th of November, Merimbula, 16th of November, Yass, 17th of November, Goulburn, and 18th of November, Bowral. And there is a court call-out for court support for Rocco versus the Tamworth Council on the 23rd of October for non-payment of rates at the James Madison Tower, Sydney. And there is a new campaign to take back the power of Australia by turning off your mains for 47 minutes from 5:47 p.m. to 6:34 p.m. on the 17th of October until the 6th of November. And there will be a mass non-compliance date against the digital ID starting on the 11th of November for 11 days. On the 11th day of the 11th month, cash only or pre-plan, no online purchases and no purchases. And every day there is a daily prayer space held on X. It's at 3 p.m. Melissa 14623
Okay, and yeah, like I said, protest with purpose, guys, and that's either at your Governor's Gates, all right, or it's our upcoming date in the 11th. All right, where we're going to see how many people. I'm in on it. I love the idea. Let's go. I'll have a week off or a bit more. I don't, bit of a joke there, guys. But anyway, I'll take the week.
Oh,
give me an EBS then.
Yeah.
There is some stuff that's coming. Well, please. Look, the thing is that there's a lot of the information about the vaccines is coming out. So you have this report.
So now confirming what many have long suspected. The COVID shots don't just impact your immune system, they can damage your brain and devastate mental health. And the evidence is overwhelming. A recent wave of studies have revealed shocking increases in ischemic strokes up 44%, hemorrhagic strokes up 50%, transient ischemic strokes or mini-strokes up 67%, myasthenia gravis, a debilitating autoimmune condition, up over 71%, Alzheimer's up 22%, cognitive impairment up nearly 138%, depression up over 68%, anxiety disorders up nearly 44%, and sleep disorders up over 93%, all linked to one thing: toxic spike protein accumulation and persistence in the brain. This isn't a conspiracy theory. These are documented, peer-reviewed research published studies by documented experts, including by epidemiologist Nicholas Holscher, who says using mRNA to hijack cells in various organ systems to produce a highly toxic spike protein that persists in the body for months or even years was one of the worst ideas in medical history. So what can you do?
It's one of the most brilliant ideas in the deep state's history, but go, Caz, yeah.
Yeah, no, that's all right. Yeah. Well, we've actually got that as well. Yeah.
2 years following the rollout of the shots, 7% of my new patient appointments were people coming to see me with injuries from these shots. I've never seen anything like it in 20 years of practice. Any other product based on the injuries that I have seen would have been pulled off the market a long time ago.
You cannot give pharmaceutical companies, one of the most unscrupulous groups of individuals on the planet, the ability to make dangerous drugs and be held not liable. It's something that needs to go away. This was a big mistake and it needs to stop.
They want the mRNA platform to do well. It's a huge revenue source. They're planning on using this mRNA technology for, in a much wider application.
So,
been warning you for years, guys. Stay away from it. But it's a really hard one, guys. The amount of time my parents are gone now. I can sort of talk, but my mum and dad, I'd go in there and I go, listen, man, no more flu shots, mum. You're doing my head in. Come on, okay, son, I understand. And we'd have a chat about something and all will be good. And then I go away, and next minute I heard, I got to go to the doctors. Yeah, what are you going to the doctors for? I need my flu shot. It's just it's just unbelievable how well planned this was and how well, it's just been laid into the brains of so many people. It's just scary, man. Thank the good Lord for people like us that actually stood back and went, oh, hang on, I've heard about this. No, I ain't playing in, I'm going to take a stand. Well done to all you people out there. All right, well done.
And
they want sorry, Caz, and they want to stop me from calling it out at the governors. I mean,
yeah.
And it's outrageous that we're having to go to these lengths. Is it nobody going to do the job? But look, one of the areas where we are super winning in is the meme wars. This one says Jacinta Allen is trans Andrews destroying Victoria since 2014, which I thought was quite good. And
that's gold.
This parody of the deluded Labour voter.
The deluded Labour supporter is a unique mammal that has the ability to ignore what's going on whilst living in a fantasy land. This means ignoring any type of facts which could disrupt his reality. But he has a defense mechanism. He's often much more comfortable at home on his phone, calling anyone that doesn't agree with him a far-right extremist or Nazi, followed by a Be Kind meme.
It's about right. It's about right. I loved it when I saw that. Yeah.
It's pretty spot on.
Look, we do have a fair bit of Q news though, and we do like to carry a bit. And that is this here: that Trump has replaces fired immigration judges with military lawyers. Well, he can't actually do that unless you are under
executive orders.
Executive orders.
That's correct.
They're completely different jurisdictions. And then you have this as well, where he's actually just basically said, "What a great show! Nothing in the world like it. Go USA!" So that's when he visited the USS George H.W. Bush. That's a ship. So we have that. So what a great show, And then we've got this where he just basically does the whole air
God bless our sailors and God bless the United States of America. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you.
He's got to have an earpiece in to know the cue.
Well,
actually, can I add to that too, Kaz? You know, when he had the military guard come into the White House this recently, there was something really. I'll tell you exactly. When they passed the coin over, that means, you know, how he's actually initiated those executive orders, right? Now, everybody else in the background had their white gloves on, except for the man that was accepting the coin. He took his gloves off, which means the gloves are off, which means the military has now accepted the coin, right? Which means that that's the executive order. They now will accept the executive order to move forward. That's what it meant.
Very good.
Well, that is very interesting because I was just going to bring in this clip. That's because of hang on a minute, where is it? Diversity. Where is it? Diversity. Here, this one.
Your diversity is not your strength. Your strength is your unity of purpose, your shared mission, your love of country.
They're completely gunning on with the DEI, and you know it's which I find very interesting. So,
DEI, fats, gays, it's happening.
Yeah.
Everything is gone. So, all right. So look, we're being taken out now. This is another swearing one, but it's really worthwhile because he's an Aussie producer.
How much swearing, Caz? Come on, how much?
No, yeah, a little bit. So look, Oliver Cromb is the artist's name, and he's done one on Elbow. So guys, if you've got any children, please make sure that they're off.
And if you're doing these things, guys, and you want to get them on the show or something like that, or, you know, catch your attention and, you know, get them to us, like, can you just curb it a bit? We are a family show. All right. And I just hope that there's kids out there watching this show, guys, because what a way to get educated about what's going on, to be sitting there with your parents, actually watching the truth come out about Australia. So we can keep it family friendly with the cuts and that, guys. I know I dropped the bombs. Okay. I'm not saying I don't, but, you know, a few of the songs are just repetitive F-bombs, and then we have some C-bombs in, and I'm just not into that, you know what I mean? Like, not at all. But anyway. Okay, so, Frank, parting words. I'm jumping in on Caz.
Well, next time we can play Glenn Campbell's, you can try a little kindness. Anyway, just saying. Going back to Mondays at Maggie's, right? Now, we've just seen what a shit show we're actually, you know, how infested our country's become. You want your country back, come and stand with me. Now, there's a few people out there who are looking for every excuse under the sun. Why don't you make it on a Sunday? Why don't you do it on a Saturday? Now, I'm offering you guys, anybody that wants to pick up the mantle on any other given day, Saturday or Sunday, I'll give you a megaphone. I'll give you the paperwork that's required. We'll guide you over the next 2 weeks. And if you stay committed, we'll bring it down even faster. So anyone wants to put their hand up to do it, knock yourselves out and we'll help you. There you go.
Yep. That's it. Guys, if you think Frank's words aren't serious, you want to think again, all right? Because, you know, as well as we know what situation we're in. And you also know that we know what they know, that they know what we know. Okay, so it's all out war out there, guys, all right? Unfortunately, we are the ones, well, not unfortunately, but, you know, it is a bit unfortunate. We get to fight with no weapons, guys. These guys have got everything. All we got is the love of God, all right, and doing the right thing, all right, for humanity. And this is not about us, all right? This is about what's coming, guys, your future, all right? Those little grandkids of mine, all right? And your little grandkids that have been fucking hit by these bioweapons at birth, you know what I mean? And being, you know, and we just need to get it cleaned up, guys. All right, we need to win the battle, win the war, all right, which God's already won for us. So we need to win the battles here that we got to win, endure and overcome, so we can actually fix this for our children, guys. Because imagine what they're going to be doing to them in another friggin' 5 years or so. Just imagine once they got you into a digital ID. All right. And then they say, oh, your kids aren't immunized. Oh, yeah. And won't they be giving you a hot shot, or your kids a hot shot? when it comes down to the crunch and you haven't got a digital ID and they're going, oh, yeah, Guru down there, his grandkids, yeah, fucking bang. I'm not saying do that. I'm just saying this is what these guys will do, mate. They're evil. So they will target. You know what I mean? But, guys, you got to stop it, all right? And the only way we're going to stop it is to come together and do it, all right, and bring the country down. So you get to your governors, and on the 11th, all right, we got to go. We got to have a holiday, guys. It's summer. We got to get to the beach, get some coconut oil, throw the fucking sunscreen away, all right? Go and have some fun. Lay it down, guys, all right? Draw your line in the sand, all right, because it's coming. And if you ain't got a line, you're fucked. Good night, guys. Thanks, Franco.
When Albo says with a smile, it may take a while for things to improve, I'm encouraged to believe the truth is this cunt's full of shit, so I'm gonna pass on me knowledge. He's trying to shut down our farms, that do us all harm, and make us all eat bugs and porridge, taking our guns away and turning kids gay, and censoring those who have courage. Albo isn't our mate, he prefers them at devils, with their raping kids, and they planned all this chaos. It's a great big reset, and all us white blokes are surplus. All the things that are wrong in our country today, Albo has done them on purpose. Some fuckers burnt down the church, but what really hurts, the cops say maybe it's the far right. Then on Devil's TV, Albo has to agree, Islamic terror gets a free pass. All these imports today, if they had their way, are turning Australia backwards. Albo's importing more with their Sharia laws, free money, free food and free houses. Help me! Albo isn't our mate, he's with them cunts, devils, they're brainwashing kids, and they're cutting their balls off. It's a great big reset, the lockdowns were just a promo. Albo wants all those white blokes locked up in our homes, he's most likely a homo. When he says President J, he sits on his knee and sells him the colour that's powered. Their export industry that we can all see destroyed manufacturing output, putting lads on the dole. It seems is his goal. He's tripled the cost of production. He says your leggy car is better by far. Discharge it at night, the fucking wanker. Albo isn't your mate, says you can't grow your own crop, there's no hunting for you, tax the shit out of our pub. It's a great big reset, this cunt sold us out to China. I'm starting to think Albo isn't just gay, I think he's got a vagina.